Hi friends, welcome to a very interesting video on planet Rahu, the planet of mystery, desires, the reason why we were born in this life. You can decode all of that from Rahu's placement in your horoscope. In my earlier videos, I have talked about Rahu in all 12 houses or 12 different signs in your horoscope. Today, it's a different topic. Rahu's dispositor. We have to look at the dispositor of Rahu. It is believed that Rahu and Ketu, they work according to their dispositors in your horoscope. What is a dispositor? Say Rahu is in the sign of Gemini, then Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury will be the dispositor of Rahu in your chart. Basically look at the Rashi Lord or sign Lord of Rahu. The sign in which Rahu is placed and the Lord of that sign is the dispositor. Now we will look at the dispositor's position in the horoscope, in which house it is placed. That will say a very different story about your life altogether. Well, the predictions which will be made, they may not be, totally resonating, because we have to look at the individual horoscope. Because there'll be so many other things, various aspects on Rahu. Okay, and the Rahu's dispositor may be a different planet. Depending on what kind of planet it is and what aspects the dispositor is getting, and whether the planet is, well placed, whether it's powerful, whether it's weak. So there's so many other things. So definitely the predictions, this is a disclaimer in the very beginning, they may not be absolutely falling in place, but definitely it will resonate with the placement of Rahu in your horoscope. Okay, so these are snapshot general predictions, but you will feel its influence to some extent. So whatever resonates with you, please take that, and whatever doesn't, you can ignore. So friends, now Rahu's dispositor in all 12 houses of your D1 chart, Rashi chart, or Lagna chart, which is called the birth chart. Alright, so we will talk about that in today's video, what results you're going to get. Okay, Rahu is the planet which, signifies all your desires in this life, which were unfulfilled maybe from your past life or lives or incarnations. So in this life, you are out there to fulfill those desires. So that we can decode from where Rahu is placed. But what about Rahu's dispositor's placement? So that is a key placement in your horoscope. When you come to know where Rahu's dispositor is placed, you have to know that Rahu's energies will get manifested in this life through that dispositor planet and through its placement in a certain house in your horoscope. So all that we are going to discuss. Quickly let me take you through a sample chart. Okay friends, let's quickly have a look at this sample chart. This is the chart of a native who is a Leo ascendant. In the first house you have number 5, the sign of Leo in the first house. These are all the 12 houses in the horoscope. This is the first house or the ascendant, okay, where you have the sign of Leo. This is a North Indian style chart. This is the first house. The house which is directly opposite to the first house is the 7th house of relationship, as you know. So this is the first house and this is the 12th house. So in this chart you can see, you have to find out where Rahu is placed. You can see here Rahu is placed in the 8th house. Rahu is in the 8th house. Rahu is in the sign of Pisces. And Pisces, we know, is a zodiac sign which is ruled by Jupiter. So find out where Jupiter is placed in the horoscope. As you can see friends, in this horoscope, Jupiter is placed in the 9th house. Jupiter is retrograde and it is placed in the 9th house. That means for this particular native, Rahu's dispositor, we can say, is placed in the 9th house. So if Rahu's dispositor is placed in the 9th house in the Lagna chart, then what kind of results you can get? Alright, you should look at that. So I will talk about Rahu's dispositor not just in the 9th house but in all the 12 houses of the horoscope in today's video. And friends, don't just look at the Lagna chart. I also want you to look at the moon chart. Okay, find out where Rahu is placed in your moon chart. Okay, so that is also important. So now let's get started. Do subscribe to the channel, friends. Okay friends, what will happen if Rahu's dispositor is placed in the very first house of your horoscope? And also, please look at your birth chart and also look at the moon chart. Rahu's placement in the moon chart. So, Rahu's dispositor, if it is placed in the first house. So I have explained what is dispositor in the introduction. Please refer to the introduction. The sign lord in which Rahu is placed, the lord of that planet, if it is in the very first house. That means in this life, Rahu's energy is going to be manifested through your desire to attain self-identity, your growth, your development, okay, your life, your possessions, your identity. It's all about you actually in this life. Perhaps you are in quest of your own identity, and that is of paramount importance to you. Nothing else matters. It is your journey. It is your growth that matters. The people with whom you connect, your world is what matters to you. You are not much bothered about what is happening beyond your world, what is happening maybe in the next door even. You may not be much bothered about others. You are so much focused on yourself. Okay? You are centered on yourself also if Rahu is powerfully placed and well placed. So you are totally centered. The focus is on your growth, which is a good thing, which can enable you to achieve great heights in life. Suddenly you can see growth, prosperity, you can have great observation skills, great intellect, great intellectual capabilities, and all good qualities if Rahu is more or less well placed. That is again Rahu's dispositor, this planet, is in the first house. So the dispositor should be more or less powerful. It should not be weak. If the dispositor is more or less powerful and well placed, then definitely Rahu's energies will manifest in wonderful ways in your life. You'll be blessed with great intellect. You'll be blessed with great observational power, analytical abilities, and you will have your logical reasoning power, and you will definitely be interested in solving mysteries. You may be interested in problem solving, in investigation, whatnot. And because of your intellectual capabilities, you will rise in life. And there'll be sudden growth. You'll make efforts and you'll rise in life. Provided the dispositor of Rahu in the first house is well placed. Find out which planet is that and how it is placed in the first house. If it is not so well placed, you have to do the remedies. Alright, so yes. Now again, if Rahu is getting afflicted, Rahu's dispositor is getting afflicted in the first house somehow, then maybe you could be a little too selfish. You could adopt unfair means to rise in life, to gain in life. You could be manipulative. Okay, in a negative way. So yeah, so all that can happen if Rahu's dispositor is not so well placed in the first house. Alright, so, and yeah, I mean, you could be so centered on yourself, you could be so self-centered that you may not be willing to help others, and you could that could lead to problems in relationship also, in your relationship life, because you will always think of your happiness first. So that could create problems in your relationship or even marriage. So yeah, that will happen if, a Rahu's dispositor is not well placed in the first house. Now let's move on to what will happen if Rahu's dispositor is in the second house. That means in this life, Rahu's energies are going to manifest through the second house matters. Second house is connected to your speech. You have a great desire to, talk, maybe to make use of your speech in earning wealth, resources, or speech will play a key role in your life, communication and speech. Also, we can say that your knowledge will play a key role in your life. You will also be obsessed about gaining knowledge, because knowledge is also a valuable possession. You will focus a lot on your family. You'll be obsessed with your family. Maybe you won't be able to see anything beyond your family. You will actually be attached to your family very much, though at times you may enter into conflicts with family members, but nevertheless you are actually attached to them. You're very much attached to them, even emotionally. It's possible. And you are focusing a lot in gaining wealth. Gaining wealth is very important for you in this life. So whatever efforts you make in this life, they are all aimed at gaining wealth, accumulation of wealth and resources. That's where your energy is getting utilized in this life. So yeah, you can have a very attractive, you may want to attract people with your speech and knowledge, with whatever possessions you have. You may want to gain more and more wealth in life. It can make you materialistic in this life, actually. Yes. If Rahu's dispositor is in the second house, if it is well placed, you'll have a very attractive way of speaking. You can attract people with your way of speaking. You will love food which is, foreign. Food which belongs to foreign cultures. You have a great desire to try different cuisines. And also, you can have, if it is well placed, you'll be truly attached to your family. If afflicted, or if Rahu's dispositor is not well placed in the second house, then quarrels and conflicts with family members, problems in speech, trying to manipulate people with your speech, alright, encountering problems in accumulation of wealth. Well, if you are connected to research, investigation, you can accumulate wealth. If you are connected to any sort of coding, technology, language, also, because language is a code, you can gain wealth. If you are connected to any field of research and investigation wherein you need to use your analytical skills and observation powers and your ability to go to the depth of things and examine things and do research, if you're connected to that, if you're connected to unraveling mysteries, and if you're connected to healing practices, occult practices also, you can gain wealth in this life. Now let's move on to what will happen if Rahu's dispositor is in the third house. Well, in this life, Rahu's energies are going to manifest powerfully through the third house matters. That means you have a karma connected with your siblings. You are actually attached to them. Though at times there could be difference of opinion, you may quarrel at times, but you actually love your siblings. If Rahu's dispositor is not afflicted. If it is not afflicted, you really love your siblings and you are attached to them. You really want them to do well in life, and you are attached to your siblings, younger siblings especially. You have a great desire for travel. You want to travel. You want to undertake travels and you want to explore things. You are very inquisitive, explorative, experimental, you have great observation powers, you have communication skills, you are skillful in doing something, because third house is the house of skills, artistic or creative skills. You are blessed with some skill. Definitely. It could be communication skill, it could be any other skill which is connected with the use of hands. You could be into palmistry, you could be into painting, whatnot, any sort of skill. And third house is the house of efforts. So Rahu's dispositor is in the third house. So you may have a lot of desire to take initiative and make efforts in this life. You want to rise in life by dint of your own efforts, by dint of your hard work, by dint of your smart work, by dint of your skills and talents that you have. You want to rise in life. You also can have great analytical skills, observation skills, and so on, if Rahu's dispositor is in the third house. Alright, so all these things. You are innovative, you want to try new things, explore new things, and you are very hardworking also. If the dispositor is well placed, you will get all good results. Okay? Yeah. But if it is afflicted, then problems with younger siblings. Okay? You may be confused as to in which direction, along which direction you need to make efforts in life. You may be a little confused and lost. If the dispositor of Rahu gets afflicted in the third house, then please do the remedy for Rahu's dispositor planet in the third house. Now let's move on to what will happen if Rahu's dispositor is in the fourth house of your horoscope. Alright, so Rahu's energies are going to manifest through fourth house matters. Now look at your Lagna chart. I also want you to look at Rahu's placement in your moon chart, and then find out how much this reading is resonating with Rahu's placement. Now Rahu's dispositor in the fourth house of homeland, your mother. So somehow you are actually very much attached to your mother. You are attached to your mother, yes. Now if Rahu's dispositor is getting afflicted in the fourth house, then there may be quarrels and problems with the mother. Okay? You may be away from your mother also. But if Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the fourth house, even if you are away, maybe physically away from mother, you will be attached to the mother nevertheless. You'll have great affection. You'll have great affection for your mother, great attachment. Alright? And also your homeland. You will love your homeland. Even if you live in a foreign land, you will love your homeland. Very much attached to your homeland. If dispositor is well placed, Rahu's dispositor in the fourth house. You actually want to accumulate assets, wealth, and property in this life. Fourth house is a Kendra house, which has to do with your possessions, wealth, assets, and property. Okay? So yeah, you may also have a lot of desire to be connected with real estate affairs. You definitely may want to accumulate property, assets, and wealth. You also may have a great desire to travel. Definitely. Now, you can be very much attached to your family, very much attached. So, and if Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the fourth house, you may even sacrifice things for your family. You're so attached to them that you can do anything for your family's welfare. You'll be very much engrossed in domestic matters, in matters connected to your home. You can't see anything as if beyond the home. The home is your world, as it were. All these things are possible if Rahu's dispositor is well placed. If not well placed in the fourth house, then yes, problems with okay, the household are within the household problems. You're not able to find peace within the household, within your home, and you have a desire to go away, maybe because you get into conflicts with people within the household, within the family. All that can happen if Rahu's dispositor is not well placed in the 4th house. Now, all these things, 4th house is part of the moksha trine, is the 1st house which belongs to the trine of moksha, sign of Cancer originally in the chart of the cosmic man in the 4th house. So it is compassion for your family members, the ability to sacrifice your comfort, your pleasure for the sake of the family, for the sake of the people around you, people of your homeland. That will take you a long way in actually gaining satisfaction, true satisfaction in this life. Now let's move on to what will happen when Rahu's dispositor is in the 5th house. Wow, this is an interesting placement. Look at your birth chart as well as the moon chart. Rahu's energies are now getting manifested through matters of the 5th house. You are eternally, or you are so much interested in love. Yes, you have a great desire to be loved by someone. Yes, it is love which drives you the most. And yes, what sort of love? Selfless love, unconditional love. Wherever you find such love, you will bow down. Yes, you will not consider anything else, because you are so hungry for true love, spiritual love in this life, which is again seldom found. Only the fortunate few, receive true love. So you are in quest of true love in this life, and that true connection with someone. You are somebody, you believe in love and romance. You are also somebody who, Rahu's energies, you want to acquire skills. Okay? You have a great desire to acquire skills, to gain recognition because of the skills, talents, artistic and creative skills and abilities that you possess. You want to gain recognition also. Somewhere deep down you have a desire to be recognized because of your talents and skills, because of the knowledge that you possess, because of the kind of knowledge and education you have, and you really want recognition for that. Somewhere you really want that. Also, you also may have a great desire to study. You may feel, again, if Rahu's dispositor is more or less well placed in the 5th house, you may feel there's no end to acquiring knowledge, which is true. There's no end to gaining knowledge in life. And all your life you'll be kind of moving towards gaining knowledge, more and more knowledge. As if that gives you satisfaction. You feel that empowers you. You feel that enables you to attain your identity in this life, or fulfill your purpose in this life. You want to gain more and more knowledge. Again, if Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 5th house, you can have great healing abilities, great intuitive powers. Definitely great desire to do well in education, to receive good education. You may want to study subjects which are very interesting, like psychology, wherein you need to go to the depth of things and investigate things. You may be interested in technology, in law, in medical science, in chartered accountancy, any field of study which requires in-depth analysis of things. So all that in any such field of study can attract you. Alright, if you get the opportunity to acquire education in a foreign land, then definitely you should go for it. Okay? If Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 5th house, you will be truly attached to your child. And you'll love them a lot. You'll have great affection. Alright? And your children also can be very intelligent. But if Rahu is getting afflicted in the 5th house, Rahu's dispositor, if the dispositor of Rahu is getting afflicted in the 5th house, then alright, then there could be conflicts with the child. You could be away from your child. All that. Now let's move on to what will happen if Rahu's dispositor is in the 6th house of your horoscope. Well, look at your birth chart as well as the moon chart. In this life, Rahu's energies are going to manifest themselves through 6th house matters. A great desire to do well in job. You may be into any kind of job, 9 to 5 job, or any job which you need to do on a routine basis, and here I'm talking about your career. Your desire to excel in your job. If dispositor is powerfully placed in the 6th house, you will defeat all your enemies and rivals. You will rise above your colleagues at the workplace, and no one will be able to defeat you, and you will attain a lot of success through your career. Now by job, I mean a work which you do on a routine basis. If you are into any other kind of work also which you're doing on a routine basis, that will also be regarded as job. Job is basically your day-to-day work. And if you're also into any kind of work which has to do with analysis of things, because 6th house is also the house of analytical powers. It's connected to healthcare industry. It's also connected to law and litigations. It's connected to being kind to animals and getting into social service, social welfare activities also. All that are also seen from 6th house. So Rahu's energies can manifest through all these any of these matters, and you may have a desire to attain your identity in any of these fields which I mentioned. Alright? If Rahu's dispositor is getting afflicted then in the 6th house, then you may be a victim of certain disease. You may be affected by some disease, and you may have health issues, health problems. It may be difficult for you to come out of the disease. If dispositor gets afflicted in the 6th house, then you need to do the remedy of Rahu and Rahu's dispositor planet. Alright, but if Rahu's dispositor is powerfully placed in the 6th house, you'll be able to defeat the disease also. And you will also be able to gain good health. If Rahu's dispositor is afflicted in the 6th house, you will get into conflicts with people a lot, which will create problems. Your enemies may get the upper hand. But if Rahu's dispositor is powerfully placed in the 6th house, you will defeat all your enemies by dint of your observation skills, intellectual powers, analytical abilities. Now let's move on to what will happen when Rahu's dispositor is in the 7th house of your horoscope. Please look at your birth chart and moon chart, both. If Rahu's dispositor is in the 7th house, that means Rahu's energies will get manifested through 7th house matters in this life. 7th house is the house of partnership, relationship, your partner, even marriage, foreign travel, business, independent business, or even partnership business. So Rahu's energies will get manifested through these matters in this life. You will somehow be driven towards relationship in this life. You will have a great desire to have a partner who can complement you or who can even complete you. You may feel that you are somewhat incomplete without your partner, and that endless desire to be with partner, all that definitely you can go through, because Rahu's dispositor is in the 7th house. So that endless searching for a partner. Alright? So yeah, if Rahu's dispositor is powerfully placed in the 7th house, definitely you may attract somebody from a foreign land. Somebody who belongs to a foreign culture, and you may be truly attached to that person, and your bond may be really very strong. And both of you, after you enter into a relationship with your partner, there'll be growth, abundance in your life, and you will grow as an individual because of that relationship. If Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 7th house. If not well placed, you may be deceived by people, not just by your partner, but also by the people with whom you deal. They may cheat on you. They may deceive you. Please do remedies for Rahu and Rahu's dispositor planet. If Rahu's dispositor is getting afflicted in the 7th house, you may be a victim of cheating, deception. So you have to be very careful in dealing with people. You may feel comfortable when you're dealing with people who belong to different culture. Beware of people who belong to your own culture. Okay? So, because they may cheat on you. People who belong to your own culture, own geographical region, or own community. Whereas people who belong to different culture, they can be friends with you, they can team up with you. But nevertheless, choose your business partner or even life partner. Choose your partner wisely. That's very important. Now, you may have a lot of desire to undertake foreign travel. If Rahu's dispositor is in the 7th house, to explore things about foreign lands. Whatever is foreign may attract your attention. It's possible. You may be so much interested in business, in doing your independent business, or doing some business with a suitable partner. All that we can say. Now let's move on to what will happen if Rahu's dispositor goes to the 8th house of mystery. Alright, 8th house is also the house of life after marriage with your partner. 8th house is your relationship life. After you enter into a relationship with somebody, how you're going to stay with that person. What sort of life you're going to lead with that person. All that we see from the 8th house. 8th house is also the house of joint assets with your partner. Alright. So when Rahu's dispositor goes to the 8th house, if it is well placed, you will accumulate more and more joint assets with your partner. Joint resources with your partner. If Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 8th house, you should invest in, accumulation of joint assets. Invest in policies or schemes which will enable you to, have joint assets in future. So you should do that because you will be able to accumulate joint resources with your partner. If Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 8th house, suddenly you may get inheritance. You may win inheritance from some family member. Definitely. It's possible. Some property or some wealth you may acquire in inheritance. Rahu's dispositor is well placed. You may also gain from maybe trading. But again, look at how the 5th house and 5th lord is in your chart. That is important. 5th lord should be well placed if you want to go into speculative business. But nevertheless, you will have a great desire to explore the unknown, the occult. A great desire to explore the world of astrology, healing, even psychology. Whatever is hidden, mysterious, that will attract your attention. It's possible. And you will get drawn towards that. Okay? So you may be into occult practices. You may be interested in it because that desire, Rahu's desire will manifest in that way. So you will get drawn towards occult practices, healing practices. Okay? So even spiritual practices, why not? Getting drawn towards spiritual practices, or doing not just that, even you may have a lot of interest in research investigation. Any kind of research investigation will attract your attention. And if your profession is connected with any sort of research investigation, in any field for that matter, whether it is the field of spirituality, whether it is the field of the occult, healing, whether it is astrology, whether it is psychology, whether it is law, medical science, technology, in any field of research investigation, you're going to do very well. Now, you have a great desire to have great sexual compatibility also with your partner. You can have great sexual appetite. Yes. Because Rahu's dispositor somewhere is connected somehow. Because Rahu's dispositor is directly connected now to the 8th house. It is placed in the 8th house. So Rahu is now connected to the 8th house. So it can heighten your sexual desire. It's possible. Alright? If Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 8th house, you will have, an intense relationship with your partner. Okay? And which will definitely, which will be a sort of relationship which is going to give you a lot of satisfaction. So yeah, it's possible, because that's what you're looking for. And you can have, a really intense, passionate physical relationship with your partner. But then, because after all it's Rahu, and Rahu is endless desire, but you will, that desire will always remain. But if Rahu is getting afflicted, Rahu's dispositor is getting afflicted in the 8th house, then there could be conflicts with the partner whenever it comes to the question of intimacy, whenever it comes to sharing the bed with your partner. Something will happen and some conflict will come up, some problem will come up, and so that will create problems in your intimate life with your partner. If Rahu's dispositor is afflicted in the 8th house, then such things can also happen. 8th house is also part of the moksha trine, so definitely if you have a desire to help others out, if you are compassionate to others, then definitely Lord Rahu will bless you in this life and you will be able to fulfill your desires. It's a very good placement for getting into occult and healing practices so that you can help others out. So, alright, now let's move on to what will happen when Rahu's dispositor is in the 9th house. Rahu's dispositor in the 9th house, if it is well placed, you'll have a great desire for knowledge, for higher education. You will want to acquire knowledge more and more. Okay, you will want to travel the world, explore the world. You'll be very much interested in travel, adventure, and exploration throughout your life. It is adventure, it is travel, which is going to excite you all the time. If Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 9th house, you will gain from foreign travel. You'll gain from even going to a foreign land. You will gain from the knowledge, the higher knowledge that you have acquired. But nevertheless, Rahu's connection is getting established with the 9th house. So you may not be a conformist. You can be a non-conformist. You will not believe in what tradition has handed down to you. You'll not believe in that blindly. You will question everything, all rituals, practices, tradition, and you will accept whatever you think is logical. You'll be very, vigilant. You will have great observation powers, and you will definitely, rely more on your logic and reasoning abilities when it comes to religion, religious practices. So whether this religious practice or whether this ritual is really going to serve my purpose, whether it's really enabling me to grow and develop as an individual. If yes, you will go for it. Otherwise, you will not. You will remain away from such rituals. You will even do rituals to gain in life. Because Rahu's dispositor is in the 9th house. You may do certain fasting. You may observe certain rituals because you want to gain something in life. Maybe you're doing that ritual to please some deity because you want something from that deity. You have an agenda always behind what you do, especially when it comes to spiritual practices, religious practices. There is an agenda behind all rituals. You want to gain something from them. If dispositor is more or less well placed, you will not adopt unfair means, and you will do some sadhana. You will do those practices because you really want to gain something, which is okay. But if it is not, if dispositor is getting afflicted in the 9th house, then you may manipulate others to amass fortune in life, to rise in life, so that you can grow. You will manipulate others in a negative way, and you manipulate others, you can cheat on others because you want to rise in life. You want to get fortunate. That is possible. That is compromising on your own principles, moral principles, to gain in life. But if Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 9th house, then you are truly interested in gaining knowledge and doing some sadhana, some practice, some occult practice, spiritual practice, something you're interested in doing that. You want to gain higher knowledge. It could be knowledge in any field. And you are thirsty for knowledge because you think that it is that knowledge which is going to enable me to attain my identity. That is fair. That will happen when Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 9th house. You will acquire knowledge for a good reason because you want to satisfy that undying thirst for knowledge within you, and you believe that if you gain that knowledge, that will redefine your identity in this life. All right. But yes, great desire for exploration, adventure, and travel. All right. You want to travel to foreign lands and explore foreign cultures. Definitely that can be there. Great thirst for knowledge, as I mentioned. Now let's move on to what will happen when Rahu's dispositor is in the 10th house of your horoscope. All right. So look at your birth chart as well as your moon chart. If Rahu's dispositor is placed in the 10th house, so Rahu's energies will get manifested in this life through 10th house matters. You are so much interested in your work. You love your work. You're attached to your work. You're attached to the results that you're going to reap because of the hard work that you have put in. So you are so much attached to your work, to the results that is going to come to you because of your work. And you have a great thirst for power also in life. Actually, you have that. If Rahu's dispositor is more or less well placed in the 10th house, you will want to gain position, reputation, and even acquire authority and power in life. But if its dispositor is well placed in the 10th house, you will not adopt unfair means. You will do it by dint of your own skills, intelligence, business acumen. By dint of your own intellectual capabilities, you will want to acquire everything through your work. That position, that power, that reputation, you will acquire that by dint of your own efforts and intellect. But if Rahu's dispositor is afflicted in the 10th house, then you can adopt unfair means to gain in the professional front. You can adopt unfair means to gain power and authority. Nevertheless, if Rahu's dispositor is in the 10th house, you can do very well in administration. You can do very well if your profession is connected to, if you're into politics. You can do well, again, it depends. Rahu's dispositor should be powerfully placed. You can do very well if Rahu's dispositor is more or less well placed in the 10th house, if you're into occult, healing practices, if you're into research, investigation, technology, if you're into psychology, you can do very well. Yes, your profession, your career, the way you establish yourself in this world, you want to gain power, authority, position, your public image, your work is very important for you in this life. Alright? You can sacrifice other things for the sake of your work. A lot of karma attached to work, to career in this life. So, make sincere efforts, acquire skills, or use the skills which you already have. Use your intellectual capabilities to do well in your work. That will take you a long way and make you truly successful in work and enable you to gain real power and position in this life. Now let's move on to what will happen if Rahu's dispositor is in the 11th house of gains in your horoscope. Look at your birth chart as well as the moon chart. If Rahu's dispositor is in the 11th house is connected to gains and also to elder siblings, to your social circle. Somehow you are attached to them. If Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 11th house, you are attached to some people in your social circle. You may have secret connections with some people in your social circle, which could be even deep-rooted connections, secretive connections with some people in your social circle. There could be some unusual people in your social circle, people who have an extraordinary way of looking at life, people who are unconventional, people who are bold and unconventional. You may have connections with such people. You may also be truly attached to your elder siblings. You may have a great desire to gain more and more from your endeavors in life. Your focus is always on how much you're gaining in this life, because 11th house is the house of gains. It is a house of wish fulfillment and manifestation of desires. So you're very ambitious. 11th house is part of the Kama Trikona, the trine of desires. So that will make you a very ambitious person, very ambitious. You will stop at nothing. For you, sky is the limit. You will go on pushing your boundaries, pushing yourself more and more ahead so that you can gain more and more from all your endeavors in life. You are so ambitious. You're never ever satisfied fully with what you have gained also. It's possible. If Rahu's dispositor is powerfully placed in the 11th house, you can experience such results. So you need to really, make true efforts, and by dint of your intellectual capabilities, you need to try your best to amass fortune, to amass resources, to gain resources and wealth, through your work. So use your intellectual capabilities to do that. And Rahu's desire, so Rahu's dispositor in the 11th house. 11th house is also connected to social welfare organizations. It is connected to helping the people who are sick, people who are unprivileged, people who are weak. 11th house is also the house which enables you to stand up for a social cause. So first you accumulate resources for yourself, and then you should believe in helping those people out who need your help. That is being charitable to people also, and being connected with social welfare organizations. So first you amass resources for yourself, and then you do some charity. That's what you should ideally do when Rahu's dispositor is in the 11th house. Do not adopt unfair means to gain wealth in life. Because if you do that, you will not be able to hold on to that wealth anyway. It will some way or the other, it will, go away from you. So by dint of your intellectual capabilities and skills and knowledge, try to amass wealth in life. When you have Rahu's dispositor in the 11th house, you can benefit from certain social connections also. Now let's move on to what will happen when Rahu's dispositor, final placement, is placed in the 12th house of moksha, liberation, foreign places and foreign lands, investments, expenditure, even losses. It is also the house of hospitalization, prison or jail, or mental asylums. Yes, sanatoriums and so on. Whichever place is secluded, where people are isolated, all that we see, because 12th house is also the house of isolation. So when Rahu's dispositor is placed in the 12th house, and if it is well placed, you will have a lot of interest in exploring various mysteries. You'll be interested in the occult, you'll be interested in healing practices, spiritual practices, and psychology. You'll be interested in technology, you'll be interested in research, investigation. And you're going to benefit from all of these, any of these fields. If Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 12th house, you can gain from foreign connections, foreign lands, by working for a foreign-based company. Or if you move to a foreign land and work there, if you settle down in a foreign land, you're going to benefit from all of that. If dispositor is well placed in the 12th house. You may want to stay in isolation and do research, investigation, all that is very good. You may have a great desire to help others out, because 12th house is the part of the moksha trine. So great desire eventually in life to do charity, to help people out. The more you help people out, the more you feel satisfied in life. All that will happen when Rahu's dispositor is more or less well placed. Great desire to remain in solitude, and feeling that yes, solitude is also bliss. It can give you a lot of happiness. It can give you unending satisfaction. And then figuring out in solitude what you want to do in life. What sort of journey is ahead of you, and how you make sense of the journey of life, and all that, pondering upon all those questions and brooding over them when you're in solitude, and then having a lot of desire to explore things which are hidden, mysterious. You could be into any sort of technology, coding, ethical hacking. You could also be connected to any sort of language. Language is also a code. And you want to explore more and more. Whatever be your field of work or study, you want to go to the depth of things, analyze things, so that you can come up with new, innovations. You can come up with innovations. You can come up with, new discoveries. So that is why you want to do research and investigation. So all that, if Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 12th house. If it is not well placed in the 12th house, then there'll be unnecessary expenditure. You won't be able to control your expenditure. So much of expenditure. You may encounter losses. All kinds of losses. Loss of money, loss of health. It's possible. Alright. So all these things can happen if Rahu's dispositor is afflicted in the 12th house. So you may be afraid of staying in solitude. Alright. So and it could even, if it's afflicted in the 12th house, it can lead to any sort of physical illness, even mental illness, mental disorder. A person could get into addiction, substance abuse, even may hallucinate things, and have even psychological problems if the dispositor is not well placed in the 12th house. Any of that is also possible. Because 12th house is the house of all. It is one of the Trik Bhava. That is, it is one of the malefic, so-called malefic houses, which is connected to losses, even diseases and problems, expenditures, unwanted expenditures also. But if Rahu's dispositor is well placed in the 12th house, you will spend, but you will spend it meaningfully. You will do charity. You will do whatever gives you happiness, peace, whatever adds purpose and meaning to your life. So all that will depend on how Rahu's dispositor is placed in the 12th house. If not well placed, kindly do remedies for the dispositor planet and also for Rahu. If it is well placed, you're going to benefit from foreign connections. You're going to benefit from foreign lands. If you settle down in a foreign land, you're going to be more prosperous in life. You're going to benefit from any field of research, investigation. You'll also have a lot of desire to have great sexual connection with your partner. If dispositor is well placed, you can have a great, intense, passionate connection with partner. If not well placed in the 12th house, you can have problems in sleep. And you may not have a very healthy, intimate relationship with partner if Rahu's dispositor is not well placed in the 12th house. So all these things, friends, we can decode about your horoscope about your life, just if we look at Rahu's dispositor in a certain house. Okay, in a certain house, but then how it is placed is very important. So these are just snapshot predictions. They may resonate with you to some extent. Okay, because a lot will depend on the nature of that planet, in what dignity the dispositor planet is placed. Okay, which planets are aspecting the dispositor planet and so on. So all that will tell the whole story. Again, if you go to nakshatra, the nakshatra in which Rahu is placed, the nakshatra in which Rahu's dispositor planet is placed, then you will come to know even more deeply about what is your real purpose in this life. What's that desire which is driving you in this life? Thank you, friends. Do let me know what you think about in the comment section. And if you want personal consultation, you can get in touch with me. You can WhatsApp me. Details are there in the video description. And before I wind up, be kind to all animals, birds, and creatures who also have the right to live like us. Try to be a vegetarian, and the divine will always bless you. Be kind to people in old age homes and orphanages. Be kind to the unprivileged and weak, and always believe in charity. See you, friends, next time. Take care. Thank you so much.